Hello! This video for identifying the ash in summer, I've actually started a little bit earlier in the season. It's late spring in mid-May, and there's something going on with the ash trees around us at this time of year that's worth mentioning before we get into full summer and get a close look at the leaves. So let's look at this little feature first. What I've come to show you is this feature here. It's the ash keys, which are really fresh on the branch. If you've watched the ash in winter videos, then you will have seen these hanging on right into winter, even into early spring. But now we have the fresh ones growing, and look at the difference in the colour. They are a bright, vibrant green. They're very distinctive, and there's no other native tree in Britain which has seeds that look or are arranged like this, so it's a really good key feature for identifying the tree at this time of year. Now these ash keys belong to the female parts of the tree, and remember we said that with ash it's quite complicated. You can have male or female trees, you can also have the male and female parts appearing on separate branches on the same tree. So that does mean that we're not going to see the ash keys on every ash specimen. Looking up now into the canopy of the ash tree, we can see that the leaves themselves make quite a distinctive silhouette. Those leaflets are clear to see on the tips of the branches, but also the bunches of ash keys. Those keys, all scattered about the tree and clustered together, make for dark green splodges throughout the canopy of the tree, which helps us to recognise it. Everything about these bunches of seeds is heavy, not like the sycamore seeds, which are much more scattered on the tree and have their two wing cases spread out. These are all hanging down and clustered close together. And I'll see you back at the ash tree a bit later on when we come into summer. It's early July now, and it's time to get a good look at those ash leaves. And as you can see, they're quite a big leaf. If I just single one out for you, we can see it in a bit more detail. Each ash leaf is made up of several leaflets. And these are the leaflets, these small ones here, and they make up the whole leaf. The arrangement of these leaflets on the whole leaf is what's referred to as pinnate. And what that means is where you get leaves, where you got lots of leaflets in opposite pairs and with a terminal leaflet at the end. Now with ash, there's quite a bit of variation as to how many leaflets will make up the leaf, anywhere between 7 and 13 leaflets. The leaves themselves are quite ovular and pointed. They have a slightly serrated edge, but not enough to make it a distinctive feature. And also if we were to describe them as having that serrated edge, it might confuse us a bit with a mountain ash. The leaves are glossy and a dark green on top, and below they are duller and a more pale green. The actual stalk of the leaf itself is a nice fresh green colour, as opposed to the twig, which is a pale grey. Remember, the ash is one of our few native trees where the leaves appear in opposite pairs on the branch. Here's another distinctive feature. Do you remember those black buds from winter? Well, here they are again on the terminal end of the branches, quite clearly visible. There's one other tree species that you could confuse the ash for, and that's the rowan, otherwise known as the mountain ash. And when you see its leaves, you'll see why. They're very similar, aren't they? They've got that pinnate structure to them. The leaf is made up of several leaflets, and the leaves are in opposite pairs. And if you didn't have an ash tree to hand to compare with the rowan leaf, I can see how you could easily make the mistake. But if we put the two side by side in this shot, you can clearly see the difference. The rowan is the smaller of the two leaves here, and that rule generally holds true. The rowan leaves are smaller than ash leaves. You can get ash leaves which are smaller than the ones seen here, so it could be comparable with the size of the rowan leaf, but ash leaves get a lot bigger, as you can see here. Also, the rowan leaves have a considerably more serrated edge to them. It's quite a distinctive feature. The leaflets of the rowan are also quite a bit closer together than they are with the ash. And also the rowan tree, of course, has its leaves arranged alternately on the branch, whereas the ash has them arranged in opposite pairs. So if there's any confusion at all, go back to that rule and you can make a clear ID. But with the similarity in the shapes of the leaves, you can see why they both gain the common name of ash. Let's take a step back and look at the ash tree from a distance. And the main thing that strikes out about ash when viewing it from afar is that it's quite a light, airy, open canopy. And that's because of those leaves, which are made up of lots of little leaflets, and so there are air gaps between those leaflets for the sunlight to get through. It also provides for us, looking at the tree from afar, lots of gaps for the sky to be seen through the tree. Look how you can see plenty of sky as we look right through the centre of this mature ash tree, and that just proves the point. So don't think of ash as having a dense, heavy canopy. It's open and airy with light being let through it. And it's this characteristic which made ash particularly good as a pairing with hazel when it comes to traditional coppice plantations. Because the ash lets in quite a bit of light through its airy canopy, the hazel underneath gets the advantage of that sunlight and can grow up nice and straight. Not only that, of course, the ash itself is a great timber tree, producing superb, straight, clean timber that cleaves beautifully and can be made into all sorts of furniture. Because the ash is an airy, open tree in its canopy, as we've said, there's a chance as well to view that characteristic smooth grey bark on the branches and the trunk, and we can spot that even from a distance. Now, the ash tree is intrinsically linked with Norse mythology. They called it Yggdrasil, the world tree, and they believed that a giant ash tree reached up to the 9 realms, linking them all together, linking the realms of gods, man and monsters. And these realms included Asgard, Midgard and the underworld called Hell. The story goes that Odin hung himself from the Yggdrasil for 9 days, and there he gathered the knowledge of the 9 realms. And then from this he broke off a great branch of Yggdrasil and he carved into it the runes, and so created the Norse runic alphabet. Well, that's everything for identifying the ash in the season of summer. We'll come back in autumn and look for some distinctive features then. However, we're going to have to be quick. The reason why is, do you remember that the ash was one of the last to come into leaf? Well, it's also one of the first to lose its leaves in autumn. So we'll have to catch it in early autumn, and we'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope it's piqued your interest to find out more about the beautiful native tree species that we have here in Britain. But before you go, I wanted you to know that this video is actually just a taster of a much larger tree identification video course that I've created for people just like you. The full course covers over 50 tree species that you'll commonly find here in the UK. And we look at those tree species in all 4 seasons, starting in winter to spring, summer, and then finally autumn. In each season, we're going to be picking out those distinctive features, which means you'll be able to identify the tree no matter the time of year. As well as videos like you've seen today, the full course also includes hundreds of photos, you're going to get questionnaires on tree species, and you'll also receive a certificate at the end of the whole course. Let me help you see the wood from the trees as I take you from tree beginner to tree expert. To find out more, simply follow the link in the description below, and you'll also get access to 2 more free tree ID videos as a preview. So you're just 1 click away from becoming a tree expert. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again in the woods.